He's lightning. He gets a small cookie today. I'm running out of cookies. Welcome, kids. Anybody's watching? This is Uncle Martin. October 12th, Sunday. And, well, I've got some ideas on what it's going to be on. I got it's a hodgepodge of stuff. Yesterday I talked about Googling Operation Woods, Forest Wood, the Woods. It's pretty just. Hey, CJ King, how you been, buddy? Hey, CJ King, he's back. This is a great little ball player here. Northwoods, thank you. That was my subconscious giving me information. Our conscious has no information. Our subconscious has the information. And God bless my subconscious. And I'm going to go into that too. But somebody that came in late, didn't watch yesterday, just Google Operation Northwoods and say, Google Operation Northwoods, is it fake? And you'll get a plethora of information that you probably will never hear in your schools. Maybe someday, but maybe that'll be 50 years from now. Hey, look at this guy. He's back again. All right, I got one more for you. One more little cookie. You better eat it, not bury it. Yeah, right. This guy's a barrier. We're going to follow him one day, and I'll find out some of the cool places he likes to bury his bones. Okay, so what I was going to talk about today was just a few little things that come up in our daily life. Like, what is the line between denial and delusion? A lot of people might ask that question sometime in their life. What is the line between denial and delusion of thinking? Okay, the differences between the two involves the dismissal of truth and a belief in something that's blatantly false. A lot of us have been taught things that are false, so it's not too hard to understand this. Okay, CJ, what do you? I've been busy with baseball. That's what I say. He's a fantastic little baseball player, and his sister likes to play softball, by the way. So when we have denial is a product of the subconscious designated to protest our psychological equilibrium and reduce the stress of an unacceptable reality. Is that not what we have today? People are not happy with politics, religion, their surroundings, and they have a lot of denial and delusion, which my 7th grade teacher told us. I'm talking 1967. I had Mrs. B. This is Mrs. In 7th grade, I had Mrs. B. Smith and Mrs. D. Smith. Mrs. B. Smith is the one who told us this. She said, by the time you get to be 50, okay, hey, don't be knocking the camera. This guy's nudging me. Well, okay, one more. All right, I got a big one for you. That's right, this guy. He loves. Oh, wow. What happened to it? I don't know. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Yeah. Okay. He should be gone for a couple of minutes, I guess, burying it. He's a very hungry boy. But he buries the doggone things. And we just had this torrential rain. I just did a short, a couple of minutes ago, about 4 o'clock, on what happened here in Arizona. We've had 3 days of rain, straight down, pour down rain. So the little short that I did, was showing how it was coming down in the morning, and I was thinking about, oh my gosh, I should I should have fixed my roof. Well, I came home and I did have buckets and stuff ready, and they were all filled up. I had some pretty big buckets, but thank God it didn't overflow the buckets. That's another story. So, where were we? Yeah, our emotions. They call they call people Karens. The Karens, that get flustered and screaming and yelling and just uncontrollable. Well, a lot of hatred, I guess, and screaming. That stuff. That's what I'm talking about. That is when. Hold on. I got them. Got the mosquito. I got a ton of mosquitoes out here. Hey, Jackson Brigton, Jackson Brigman. Yes, I remember you. Hi. So, these people with all these emotions that that are uncontrollable, and a lot of it deals with hatred and overflowing. It's something that they have. This is why. This is why, because your consciousness has all the logic with no emotion. No emotion. Your consciousness, what we're speaking from now, has no emotion. Not until our subconscious comes up and gives us some emotion. It's sort of like Spock. Remember Spock in, yeah, if you remember Star Trek, he had control of his emotions for a few episodes. There was like 4 that he lost his emotions, but that would be another story. Okay, so hey, gaming official, we're just talking about people that have no control over their emotions, and why is that? It's because their consciousness isn't there. Their subconscious is taken over their consciousness, and that is what happens when people are screaming and yeah, and they're just they're just, the lights are on and nobody's home, in a sense, and that's where you have to keep your consciousness. What is it called? It's in biblical times. It says, "Be at the lighthouse." Be at the lighthouse means your focus. You consciously should be looking out consciously at what's going around you and being in control of your emotions. Yeah, be in control of your emotions. Hey, Jackson Bigman, you got this soon. You will be famous. I'll be famous? What are you talking about? I can't even scroll down. Oh, yeah, Judge, you got this soon. You will be famous. We're all famous. All of us are individuals. We are all famous. People try to put a number on you, and the number ain't going to go. There's like 15 things that are different than anybody else has, all right? I'll go over them again for you, but we're all individuals that there's not one of us. It's like a snowflake. Every snowflake is different. Well, every human being is different. Every grain of sand is different. Go get him, boy! It looks like he's keeping out another intruder. Oh no, I see what's happening. People like to bring the dogs by and entice my dog to bark. Why would they do that? Okay, okay, J King. I almost have 2,000 subscribers. I almost have it. I don't know what that means. You know what? You know what it means? It means diddly. Nothing. Until you have 4,000 hours. Is it views? No, it's hours. Yeah, hours. Hours, my God. 4,000 hours before you can subscribe or you get monetized. Not monetized, yeah. And do you know what that means? I only have right now, I think it's like 350 hours that have actually been watched. And they always change it over after a year. So my first 2 years, I set it up for kids, so all you can get is a thumbs up or down. No comments were allowed. That's what you do when you put it up for kids. Now I open it up for everybody, so they can Well, give me more comments, obviously, but you have to watch. You have to watch my episodes to the end for me to get any credit. Which, I think I got somebody at least watching more now that I've gone live. But look at it this way. Look at it this way. I have, from my very first episode, I've got over 700 episodes now. If you go to the very, very, very first one, and that one is, hey, Jackson Brigham, I'll see you soon. Probably in 10 minutes. I'm sorry. Well, maybe, maybe not. So if you go to the first one, to the whatever I got, I have never edited anything. So when you look at it, you can look at it as a live, like you're looking at me now live. Except I didn't have any teeth then because know why? I didn't want to be fake. I wanted to be telling the kids to brush your teeth every day. How could I do that with a smile? I had to do it that way. That's what my heart told me. Now I'm doing it with teeth. Okay, I'm gonna play my cousin on the Roblox. All right, go kick his butt on the Roblox. Um, who is your favorite YouTuber, Uncle? My favorite YouTuber. See, that's the problem. Um, yours is unspeakable. Yeah. See, I I have not been really out looking at YouTube. Um, I've joined up on TikTok, which is a bunch of bots, a lot of bots, and I've gone live on there. And after I've done live, I can't even find where I went. I mean, I don't know what they did with it. And I had a whole bunch of people watching me, but I didn't get credited for it. I'm thinking, what is this, joke or something? And then I've gone over to X, and X would not put on what I did yesterday on Operation Northwoods. All right, Operation Northwoods. I want anybody that's coming in late, just Google Operation Northwoods and say, is it fake? And you'll get a plethora of information. That's what I talked about yesterday. And they wouldn't, X would not put it on for me. Why would that be? Was it too political? But they're very political. So why wouldn't they put that on? I'm saying X. Who was X? Well, it was Twitter, I guess now. No more Twitter, but it's X. So is there something stopping Uncle Martin from saying some true stories, let alone facts on things? Operation Northwoods. Look it up. In fact, is Operation Northwoods fake? No, it isn't fake, and that's what I'm saying. It's got to get out there, all right, on what's going on in our society for like a long time, and it's now just happening, where it's happening. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about real fast, was India, and how India, again, as I said yesterday. Okay, you're on my phone and unspeakable on my TV. Yeah, I could be on your TV too. I didn't know people could watch Uncle Martin on their TV. See, that's how much I know. I didn't know you could watch. I know your tablet, your phone. I didn't know you could put me on on your TV. I guess you can. I would be on big screen then. So, India, as I said in the past, they go back millions of years. All right. In fact, there's a book that they have on a book that goes back 1 million years. It's called the Book of Dizan. I'll go into it, I promise. It's just too good to not look at, not to touch upon it. But actually, India, as you well know or not, they are the ones that gave us the 0. But prior to that, we did not have a 0. We had 1 to 9. That's pretty crummy. You couldn't count past 9. So when they give us a 0, we could go a little further, couldn't we? And they have all the background of all the stuff. In fact, people from Egypt went to India to get schooled. Then Egypt came back and you saw what they could do. Just put that on the back shelf. So India, and as we know or don't, they have, they said that the first flower on the planet was a lotus. The lotus was the very first flower here. Now, as far as there's a lot of spiritual understanding behind the lotus, and India understands it esoterically this way, which I find fascinating. So the three petals of the lotus. There's more than that. That'd be another story. We're just going to stay with the first initial three flowers of the lotus. Is stands for ignorance, endurance, and understanding. And these are also the three periods of human consciousness. And also it deals with the earth, water, and air as far as elements go. And for man, man actually is living in three worlds. Humanity, man, is living in three worlds. And the three worlds are the material, intellectual, and spiritual. Think about it. You don't have to think about it too hard, but just put it on the back shelf if it's not coming through yet. Might have to watch this one again. So as the plant, the lotus, its roots go deep into slime. It can live, the roots go very deep into the slime and mud. And then it goes upward into the water. And then it blossoms forth into light and air. Okay, so as far as that is comparable to man, man's growth, excuse me, would be so the spirit of man grows upward from the base action and desire into the truth of light and understanding. And is that not true? We start out with pretty much a lot of ignorance. And then from ignorance through knowledge, or let's say information that is used correctly, that becomes knowledge, then you get to have wisdom. And then from wisdom you have discernment. Discernment is very important because then you can decide what is positive, what is negative. And if you don't know what positive is and negative is, you have no discernment. And these are the people that have been controlled by their subconscious. Screaming and yelling and hatred toward everything that the professor didn't tell them or what they were told to be true. They don't have the common sense to be able to listen to both sides. They only listen to one side, the side they decide to believe in. And when they just believe in that and they can't hear the other side, there is a problem here. All right? And that's where the emotions come in, where you have a person doesn't have a conscious awareness and has allowed the subconscious to sit upon the throne of the awareness of that individual. That's what it comes down to. So, as they say, water serves as a symbol of every changing world of illumination. And it's through that the soul must pass struggle to reach its spiritual illumination. We are here to go through the muck and mire of both positive and negative so we can discern whether or not we want to go one side or the other. And a lot of people, they know a lot of things. And just because, they're caught up in the material world. Like the material girl in the material world. You know that song? What was that, Cyndi Lauper or somebody? She's a material girl. She loves the world or something. That one. A lot of us have been brought up to understand that the material things are the best things to have in the world. And that's what I was brought up as. Understanding from like I was like 13 of years of experience. That if I had money, I had women, I would be happy. Do you know how much money I made? I made a lot of money. And I spent it on everything I could think of that I wanted to be happy. And I kept buying things and I wasn't happy. And then I went through a lot of women to find I wasn't happy there either. It was just something you go through, I guess, to where you understand something to be true, and in reality, I was delusional. I believed something that wasn't factual. I just believed what somebody else told me, and not until well, there you go. Someone told me a falsehood. They told me a falsehood that I followed to the T. I made a lot of money. I bought everything I could think of that was going to make me happy. And then I thought during that time period too, I had tons of dates, a couple a night. Yeah, it was crazy, but I had to do it because that's what I knew I was going to be happy. And after all that stuff, I wasn't happy. So I decided to make a change. And that's why we all come to this understanding at some time. Hopefully, you kids or anybody that's watching that has less experience than myself, you can come to an understanding that maybe this guy's got something. You can look at me and say, he looks happy. Yes, I've always been happy. I was born smiling. And that's what the problem was when I went to my 20 schools that I did graduate. Every time I went in smiling, by the end of the day, they had a fist in their hand and they wanted to talk to me. Well, a lot of them, I got to arm wrestle during lunchtime. They didn't want to have a fight afterwards. And then the other ones that I had to have a fight with, well, I went over a few of those stories, but we got more for you if you want. And it's always arm wrestling first, because if you beat somebody in arm wrestling, they're not going to want to fight you. That's what it comes down to. Unless they get a gang, and then they want to fight you. But that doesn't matter. That was Dad's fourth rule. If it's more than you and the if it's more than you and the kid, it's the gang. Casually go over to the biggest guy and knock him out. And I'm telling you, even the smallest mice out there that can't even, well, hopefully you can do at least 3 push-ups. That would help when you're trying to knock out the biggest guy. But even if you can't, you'll at least stun them to where they open up the gate and you can get through. They've encircled you, and you are now monkey in the middle with no hat to play with or a ball. You're going to be the guy that they're going to pile on you. That's why you casually go over to the biggest guy, and because they're not going to expect it from anybody really, that you might have to. Well, let's say might have to stand up on a bench, on one of the lunch benches. You stand over there and say, you point him out. You say, hey, you, biggest guy, come here. I got something to tell you. And he'll be happy to go over there. And then you just say, hey, you know what? And you just punch him in the face. And then they'll all be amazed that you would do such a thing. Plus, he'll be stunned, hopefully enough, to where you get out of the circle. And that's pretty much how it works. I'm just saying that's the worst scenario, all right? Always do your chin-ups, pull-ups, your push-ups. If you can get some weights, that's fantastic too. Get some strength behind you. None of you kids out there, you're all little. I deal with. They go through my line, and I'm looking at the kids for the last, and you guys are running home too much and working on your games and stuff. I was out swinging on vines, chopping down trees, climbing the rope. I was doing all that stuff, and to this day, I still do it. That's what I'm saying. Start when you have less experience, and by the time you get to my experience, you'll be able to do all these things. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say. It doesn't cost any money to do a push-up. It doesn't cost anything to get a bar and put it across and do some chin-ups and pull-ups. I took all those championships growing up. I mean, nobody could ever. See, in fifth grade, my first fifth grade, I was able to do 10 pull-ups and 10 chin-ups. That was remarkable. Probably a lot of people can do a lot more now, but back when you're 11 years old, 11 years of experience, even the kids around me, they could do like maybe 4 or 5. I'm telling you, even when I was growing up, kids weren't doing as well as they could be. I guess that's why the teacher put a chin-up bar there. She's trying to get. Well, see, back in the 60s, John F. Kennedy, he had a lot of PE, physical education. People had to do like the monkey bars or the the hand over hand going across that way, climbing rope, rolling, tumbling, doing all these physical things that we're not doing right now. And all the kids that are watching me or parents or grandparents, you know what I'm talking about. We got foods that are poisoning our kids and ourselves that that are that weren't out there back in the 60s and 70s, and we've got a lot more of it now. And that's why I'm trying to put it across that you got to really watch what you've been eating. Um, I know sugar is a big thing. We were uh, we were brought up on sugar, but right now I don't think I've had sugar in probably about 7 years. I know what it does to the body. I was really at a low state at one time, and I sat on the couch and I did a 2 hour movie. I was perfectly fine, walking around normal. I laid on the couch, but I was at a very low state. When I laid on the couch, I ate like a half a bag of trail mix that I put together myself. Coconut, almonds, the whole schmear. But I bought it from the store. And when I ate the bag, or half a baggie full. And after 2 hours, when I barely got off the couch, I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk. I said, this is amazing. All I did was eat this little bag of trail mix, and then I looked up all the ingredients on it. It had corn syrup. It had all the stuff in there. It was all natural. It's all natural. But I saw what the sugar, the corn syrup, and all that stuff did to my body at a very low state of immunity, let's say, to where my eyes opened up to see that sugar. By the way, the cancer survives in sugar. By the way, okay, and also if you become more, and it's also acidic. Okay, so if your body is alkaline, if you have an alkaline body, cancer cannot live in an alkaline body. These are just facts. Vet me on this if you wish. Here's that mosquito. Hold on, baby. Bagger. I got about 100 right around me because it's been raining. I don't know where they're coming from. I'm trying to find the source. So when we watch her eat, and well, be more aware of our surroundings, which we have to do now. You kids don't go out alone anymore, especially with Halloween coming up. You don't go out knocking on doors by yourself. You better have your parents, some kind of guardian, some bunch of friends with you. Kids are being snatched up all around waterways now. Thousands of kids are being missing every day. It's no joke anymore. I was able to walk around a lot more when I was growing up. Now you can't. There's an intent for children right now that's not very positive, and I'm not going to go there. There are three things, though, that I was going to bring up. When you have the state, the church, and the mob, when it rules. When the state and the church and the mob, that's a bunch of people, rule, this is what happens. The state gives you fear. The church gives you superstition. The mob gives you ignorance. And the opposite side of that would be, from fear, you have to have love. From superstition, you have to have illumined faith. And from ignorance, you have to have wisdom. And that is why with mob rule, or when a mob starts to rule, when it starts out very small and it just starts to go, that's where you come in as an individual to say, no, this is wrong. This is not positive. Because usually the mob rule will be some idiot to a speaker or something like that saying some falsehood, and you scream out, no, that's not correct. I've done that. I've been there, and that is not correct. And you go into your story on how you can avert that, and that'll stop a mob riot. Mob riots is total ignorance, and we're looking at mob riots as we see all around the world right now. People have gotten on the platform. It's always usually one or two people that start screaming stuff, and people that don't have the awareness or discernment need somebody to stand up and say, well, wait a minute, I've already done that. I've seen that, and this is the way it is. And then, you know, then if it gets really ugly, get out of there because that's what you're going to have to do. Uh, I don't know. It's just one of those things. We all get caught up in information that we thought was true, and then we find out, well, it was false. And that is all of our history, all the things that we've been told since we were been born. A lot of it, probably about 85%, has been false, and there's like 15% truth. And it takes a very wise person to be able to discern what is false and what is true. That's what it comes down to. And well, they say when reason reigns supreme, inconsistency cannot exist. That's right. When reason reigns supreme. In the mob rule, there is no reason. There's just inconsistency. And we got a lot of inconsistency going on as you look around all over this planet right now. Okay? And if everyone is thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking. Oh, yeah. It's always when you stand out and start asking questions, or you yeah, it's usually how it happens. I asked a lot of questions in school, and I wasn't their favorite, but I had to do it. And right now, I know in colleges, you don't want to ask questions. Get a Your grade isn't going to be an A. Hey, well, a B is okay. So, what does that say? You know what Voltaire said? Voltaire, look up Voltaire. He's a fantastic guy, very wise. He said, common sense is not so common. That is so correct. We think people have common sense. I thought when I grew up, everybody had common sense. But as we look around now, we don't have any common sense. Going back to what I didn't tell you earlier was Mrs. B. Smith. We were in history, and she said she was talking about psychological. I don't know how psychological stuff came in 6th grade, but she said at this time we have 3/4 people are normal. There's and this is 1967. She says there's 3/4 of the people on the planet that are normal. There's 1/4 that are not normal. They lack common sense. And she said, by the time, now I'm like 12, 13, I'm 12. I'm 12 years of experience, and she's telling me by the time I'm 50, it's going to be 50-50. That there's going to be less people with common sense. I don't know where she came up with this, but she was spot on. I think it's more than, I think we've got more people that, we have less people with common sense and more people with no common sense that I've seen around us growing. So most of the planet now is going in a negative way for whatever reason. And how she knew this, I just don't know. I had so many teachers in that class. There was a German gal that was a witch. She wasn't a witch. She was a psychic, and she was telling us how to meditate. And it didn't turn out too positive for Uncle Martin. It was my first meditation, and what I brought home was not positive. That would be another story. I guess I'll do, if I can tomorrow at 5 o'clock, I'll do meditation. All right, that's a good way of ending this because it's about to rain again. It's going to be coming down tough. If you look at my short that I just did, it was cats and dogs. Very rare for it to rain here in Arizona, let alone like 4 days now in a row. We didn't even have that in summertime. We're supposed to have these Monsoons. We didn't have any monsoons. They call them haboobs, dust storm and thing. And the guy that named that was definitely a boob from across the country. We always had a monsoon. I go with monsoon. I don't go with haboob. We didn't have any monsoon or haboob. Now we're getting a lot of rain, no dust. I mean, we're talking flash flooding all over Arizona. This is very unusual. Is there some kind of weather manipulation going on? I know that it can be done. We need the rain, but we have caliche soil, and if it doesn't go into the soil, it floods people out. You have flash flooding. There's a lot of damage. I guess a lot of people noticed that all over the United States when they had a lot of, and this world is coming down to a lot of that stuff too. But that would be another topic, why that would be. So, all of you out there that have watched so far, give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. It's up to you if you want to leave a comment. And I'll do my best getting out here at 5 o'clock on the spot on the 13th of Monday, October. Until then, be well. God victory. This guy here, he's a mooch. I think I got one more cookie. Nah, know what I got? Know what I got? That's a piece of a cookie. Till we see you again. Be well, God victory. Take care.